Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Elena. I love beauty and makeup, especially eyeshadow. In today's video, we are going to be ranking my neutral eyeshadow palettes. I do have 12 eyeshadow palettes, so let's go ahead and get started. At number 12, we have Twisted Slate from ColourPop, and this is what the palette looks like. It is at number 12 just because I'm not a big fan of this palette. I felt like it was super patchy and just wasn't blending very well. Now, I do know some people had a good experience with this palette. Me, on the other hand, I did not, so that is why it's at number 12. At number 11, we have Cream and Sugar from e.l.f. And just letting you know, all the palettes from here on out, I do like. I feel like the quality is super good, but everything's ranking where it's at because it's my personal opinion. So at number 11, we have the e.l.f. one. Super nice. It's only ranking 11 just because it's a little smaller and there's only 4 pans, but otherwise I really do like this palette. At number 12, we have the Meraki palette from Lorac, and this is what the palette looks like. I love this palette so much. It's just ranking a little bit lower just because the palettes from here on out I just like a little bit more, and plus I just feel like there's a lot of similar colors to this. But I do like the Lorac formula. I do find it very nice. This is the only Lorac palette I do have, but I really like it. It's only coming at number 10 just because I like the other palettes a little bit better. At number 9, we have the Sugar Cone palette from BH Cosmetics. And this is what the palette looks like. Super good quality. I love this palette so much. BH did such a good job. Now, if you don't know, BH Cosmetics was bought out by Makeup Revolution, so I'm not so sure if you can get your hands on this palette, but I did buy this palette from Marshall's, so most likely you can find it at Marshall's. At number 8, we have this Natasha Denona Alloy palette, and this is what the palette looks like. I like this palette. I did get it from BoxyCharm, so I think this is only exclusive from BoxyCharm, but I thought Natasha Denona did a really good job with this palette. It's only ranking at number 8 just because it is a smaller palette, but the quality of this is super good. At number 7, we have Play It Cool from ColourPop, and this is what the palette looks like. I like this palette. I thought the quality was really good. Now, ColourPop is sometimes a hit or miss, and I felt like this palette was definitely a hit. I love the look I made with this. It's only ranking a little bit lower just because the other palettes I like a little bit better. But don't get me wrong, this palette is super nice. Then we have what is on my eyes today is Set in Stone from ColourPop. And this is what the palette looks like. I love this palette so much. It's only ranking a little bit lower, like I said, just because the other palettes are a little better. But this is what's on my eyes today. And the quality is super nice. Like, the shimmers are really good. ColourPop did such a good job with this. I even thought the mattes are really good. Now, we do have a cream in this palette, which has dried out, so I don't really like the creams they do, but otherwise the palette is super nice. So I would definitely recommend this palette if you are going to start out with some neutral colors, because it's definitely beginner friendly. At number 5, we have the Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl palette. And this is what the palette looks like. I thought this palette was super good for Too Faced. I love the color story. The quality is super good. Now, it is only ranking a little bit lower just because, like I said, the other palettes I like a lot better, and because the formula is kind of just getting a little off. Now, it is because my eyeshadow palette does not close all the way. So I do feel like, with that being said, that the quality is a little off than before. But the palette's still super good. I still love the palette. It still smells really good. I thought Too Faced did a really good job with this. So yes. At number 4, we have the Your Golden palette from ColourPop. And this is what the palette looks like. I love this palette. Now, this is the only mega palette I do have from ColourPop, but I thought the quality of this was super good. Now, the only reason it's ranking at number 4 is just because I feel like there are a couple repeat shades in here. But otherwise, the palette itself is really good. I thought the glitter in here was actually super good. It's not the chunky glitter, it's that fine glitter that ColourPop is trying to do. And I definitely think if you're a beginner at makeup, that this palette would also be a really good choice for you. So we are at my top 3, and number 3 is the Naked Honey palette from Urban Decay. And this is what the palette looks like. This palette is actually super good. Now, I have tried some Urban Decay recently, and I just feel like it just doesn't top this palette. Like, the shimmers are really good, the mattes are super good. It is an OG palette, but let me tell you, this palette's super good. It's only ranking at number 3 just because the other 2 are just a little better than this palette. But don't get me wrong, this palette is super nice. And at number 2, we have from Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. And this is what the palette looks like. Let me tell you, this palette though, it is so good. Like, the shimmers are really good. The mattes are super good. The quality is just amazing on this palette. Like, I don't really have any complaints about this palette, to be honest. It's only ranking at number 2 just because the top number 1 palette is just a little better. But like I said, there is nothing wrong with this palette, and I definitely feel like if you're a beginner that this would be a good palette just because it's very workable, super easy, and also does smell good. Just thought you should know. Too Faced did such a good job with this palette, and I just wish Too Faced would kind of bring back these type of palettes. I just feel like Too Faced recently just have been a hit or miss. But this was definitely a hit, and I would definitely recommend this palette if you like neutrals. And then at number 1, we have the ColourPop The Mandalorian palette. And this is what the palette looks like. This just is so good. It is a little bit grungy also, which I do like. And then we have a duochrome right here, which is super pretty. The quality of this is amazing. This palette, it's so good that I just don't have anything bad to say about this palette, to be honest. I think ColourPop did such a good job with this. I do like the Star Wars collabs they do put out because the other Star Wars palettes I like too. But this one, super, super good. Also beginner friendly, I feel like. So I would definitely pick up this palette if you like this color story because the quality is super good. And I just really like this palette. Okay, so that is it for the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will be back with a lot more makeup content. Till then, stay beautiful, stay healthy, and stay safe. Bye.